Hello, everyone, and welcome to the latest ATTA webinar. The chat function is open, so please let us know what part of the world you're joining us from today. It would be great to put some names to, or some place to the names rather. Aha, we've got Nikki from Ireland, Deborah from Botswana, Janine from South Africa, Andy from Cape Town, Robert from South Africa, Odile from South Africa, Jen from South Africa. Lots of South Africans in the house. I can see lots of familiar names. We have Lauren from Zambia. You're all welcome to today's webinar. I think we've got enough people in the room. We can start. Hello to those of you just joining us. Please make yourself comfortable on our virtual seat. Grab a pen, a notepad, if you will, and we'll kickstart the session shortly. I'm just going to wait for a few more persons to join in. Okay, great. So you're all welcome to the latest episode of our educational webinar series. On today's episode, we'll be talking about synergizing sales and marketing, a collaborative strategy for success, which I think is very interesting and relevant for our business growth today. Just a few housekeeping before we start. The webinar will be recorded, so in case you need to do anything at any point during the live session, not to worry, we'll share a copy of the recording shortly after, and so you can catch up with anything you might have missed out on at any point. Just at the bottom of your screen, you can find a Q&A box. So if you have any question for the presenter, just pop that into the Q&A box, and once the presentation is over, they'll be directed to Lucy, who would treat the questions. Today, we're delighted to be joined by Lucy Mossett. Lucy is the PR and Business Development Director for Big Ambitions. She has a wealth of experience spanning through sales, marketing, public relations, and business development. Lucy is valued for her versatile skill set, her strategic vision, and leadership have been very much instrumental in guiding the agency towards success in the ever-evolving landscape of marketing and communications. Without further ado, Lucy, thank you for joining us today. The virtual floor is yours.
Thank you, Blessing, for the introduction. Hi, everyone. I hope you're all well, and thanks for joining us from all over the world. Welcome to today's webinar on synergizing sales and marketing, collaborative strategies for success. It's great to have you all here with us, representing various travel and trade organizations from across the globe. So thank you on the housekeeping. We absolutely will answer any Q&A at the end of the session and share with everyone a toolkit. If you can hold your questions till the end, that will be great. And I will try to get to all of those. And if not, you're very welcome to email me directly, and I will answer whatever it is that you're needing to know. So you may be wondering why the intriguing title I've chosen, Sales and Marketing, the Perfect Marriage or Not? Provocative question is meant to challenge the conventional wisdom that these two essential business functions are inherently at odds with each other. Throughout the webinar, we'll explore more fundamental differences between sales and marketing, as well as the critical importance of integrating their distinct roles for maximum impact. We'll delve into actionable strategies for seamless collaboration, ensuring leads are nurtured effectively and opportunities aren't missed. Additionally, we'll have a look at how to foster a shared understanding of goals and metrics, driving mutual accountability and continuous improvement through effective communication and feedback. Sounds like a lot. It is, but we'll get through it. But what if you don't have a dedicated sales and marketing team? Don't worry, we'll also cover practical approaches for those wearing multiple hats, ensuring that these vital functions remain aligned and synergized. By the end of the session, I hope that you would have gained some valuable insights into transforming the relationship between sales and marketing from a potential battleground to a harmonious, high-performing partnership that propels your business to new heights. So buckle up and get ready to explore whether sales and marketing can truly achieve the perfect marriage, or if this union is destined for a turbulent journey. Strategy fatigue. So personally, this is often how I feel every day. So many options and too many choices in both the marketing and sales fields. Where do you spend your budget and what are the reasons why? When building a solid sales or marketing strategy, we often find ourselves overwhelmed with choice. So what is strategy fatigue? Strategy fatigue happens when teams get burnt out from too many changes and new initiatives all the time. This can make it really hard for sales and marketing to work well together. The impact of strategy fatigue: if sales and marketing are constantly dealing with new strategies, restructuring, or attempts to improve collaboration, they can face confusion about roles and responsibilities, resistance to more changes, breakdown in communication and coordination, difficulty agreeing on shared goals and metrics, and loss of trust in the latest strategy of the month. So very key for us to look at strategy fatigue and understand how we can avoid going into this space, and just clarify for each of the different departments what their core goals and focuses are. And we'll unpack that a little bit more later on in the webinar. So some solutions and just understanding why it's important in terms of clearly explaining the reasons behind any changes, involving both the teams in planning new initiatives, and focusing on a few high impact strategies at a time. So less is more. And obviously we often talk about the KISS principle, keeping it simple, stupid. Allowing enough time for the changes to stick before adding more. We're all guilty of this. Celebrating wins to keep momentum going. And the key is finding the right balance between continuous improvement and stability. That way the sales and marketing team can build a strong, lasting partnership without burning out from constant upheaval. Also really key for us is celebrating the wins, and we often find ourselves being extremely busy in both fast-paced departments and not stopping to celebrate the wins. Key as well is making sure that we maintain the balance. I'd like to show you a video to illustrate where a few of us often go wrong, something a little bit lighthearted. Blessing, if you can just let me know that it plays smoothly with sound. Thanks so much.
Ever pondered the correlation between sales and marketing in your business? Is it a harmonious union like a picturesque resort, or a high-tension situation akin to a turbulent journey? Picture sales as the passionate globetrotter, perpetually seeking the highest bookings and ideal tours, and marketing as the skilled pilot, charting their path through unique campaigns and tourist attractions. Is this a marriage made in heaven or not? However, these two often find themselves in a storm of confusion over sales leads handoffs, sparking misunderstandings and disputes. The fallout: wasted efforts, missed opportunities, and potential customers treated like the overbooked passenger everyone dreads to handle. But might there be a dream holiday just waiting to be discovered? Envision marketing and sales working in perfect harmony like a well-charted global journey. Qualified leads flowing smoothly like tourists exploring must-see vibrant cultures and exotic locations. Captivating campaigns that fuel itineraries as enticing as postcards from the world's most remote corners. It's a picturesque destination where everyone wins. More conversions, skyrocketing revenues, and a thriving business. So what's the key to navigating this thrilling journey? Just like the meticulous planning of a wedding, it depends on shared goals, common objectives, and clear communication. As in a well-organized expedition, sales and marketing must journey together, their eyes set on the same destination. The key to successfully traversing this complex journey? A firm commitment to functioning like a seamlessly coordinated tour crew. So is this the ideal union between sales and marketing your travel industry has been longing for? It's time to set a new course. A well-charted journey could lead to cascading profits, a loyal clientele, and a thriving travel landscape. But a turbulent journey? That could mean missed opportunities and squandered exploration. The roadmap is in your hands. Will you commit to shared destinations and open dialogues, or risk a potential detour? The ticket for a successful expedition is yours. So let's journey together, sharing thoughts and ideas, and ultimately find that sweet spot of marital bliss between our marketing and sales departments.
Okay, so let's talk about one of the greatest love stories of our time. No, I'm not referring to Romeo and Juliet. I'm talking about the epic romance between sales and marketing. These two teams have been dancing around each other for ages, both playing hard to get. Sales is like, hey, marketing, where are these quality leads you promised me? And marketing shoots back, well, if you'd actually follow up on the leads we sent, maybe we'd get somewhere. But despite their differences, sales and marketing desperately need each other to survive. It's like one of those cheesy rom-coms. They can't live with each other, but they also can't live without each other. But when they finally join forces, it's a revenue-generating powwow. However, making this fairy tale couple work isn't always easy. There's often a communication breakdown. Conflicting goals, lead handoff spats. But here's the thing, when sales and marketing finally stop playing the games and commit to regular date nights, working on their relationship, the magic happens. Wasted efforts plummet, hot leads get scorching hot follow-up, and customers stay happily engaged from first impression to closed deal. What's key in defining who does what? Understanding common pain points, looking at integration, and clearly defining responsibilities. We can unpack that a little bit later in the webinar. So understanding the sales and marketing divide. Who does what? We'll detail shortly what the marketing and sales departments each do in terms of their core responsibilities, how we look at the integration between them, and how we define the responsibilities. So what's next? That's all great in theory, but you may be asking at this point, it's a lot of information, and where do I start, and how is this relevant to me and my business? You may be thinking, we have always done things a certain way, and how do we even start to change that? So let's maybe spend a little bit of time unpacking the marketing and sales roles, and then what approach you can take if you don't have both in your business, which is one of the key outcomes of the webinar. And as they say, best way to eat an elephant is one small bite at a time. You've got the marketing team, those creative, free-spirited souls constantly dreaming up wildly imaginative campaigns to lure wanderlusters across the globe. They certainly have flair and charisma. They paint irresistible pictures of breathtaking sunsets, exhilarating safaris, and vibrant cultural experiences that make everyone want to drop everything and book the next flight to paradise. But more seriously, the marketing team's responsibility is really very few critical key roles. The first of which, understand your product and service. All too often, we have somewhat of an ostrich mentality when it comes to being realistic about what we offer to our client or customer. We're all guilty of it, especially in the entrepreneurial world. We become deeply immersed in the product or service that we offer. We believe wholeheartedly in what we do, which is a critical requirement when representing a brand. But this is often a roadblock in staying in touch with the reality about what our customer really experiences when engaging with your brand. What this means is having real conversations, using things like focus groups, customer feedback, other sources of input on a regular basis when analyzing what you offer. Make sure you use big enough sample sizes. Remember that one person's opinion is not sufficient to adjust your overall marketing approach. And use a general consensus here. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news. It's often not your opinion or your team's opinion about your brand that should be your guiding light when setting the course. But the good news is that it's okay. And with this insight, it's an easy solution. The rule of thumb, Continual analysis of your offering, how it's being received by your target audience, and listening to multiple resources of feedback. Don't jump for a strategy change on one bad review. Market, however, on well-documented customer feedback tools and look for trends and commonalities over a period of time. Next is the key factor of understanding your competitor well. Running a comprehensive competitor matrix at least once every 6 months is critical. I'm going to showcase one example in our toolkit that I'll share after the webinar of a competitor matrix. These can be as easy or complex as you wish them to make them. I would not recommend, and it often is a task that is given to a more junior staff member, I would not recommend that a junior staff member executes your competitor matrix, for the simple reason that the valuable information that comes out of doing an extensive competitor matrix once every 6 months is like gold for your sales and marketing heads and your senior management in terms of the information and the analytics that comes out of the matrix. So yeah, if we have a look there in terms of understanding your competitor in detail, and it's based on facts. So the in-depth competitor matrix, we call them, more simply put, is just a comprehensive Excel spreadsheet of accurate information where you map out core aspects of your product or service, and you stack them up against what your competitors are doing in the marketplace. Ideally, it's about 10 of your top competitors at the least. And very quickly, when you complete this matrix, you see where you sit in the competitor landscape. This one small exercise every 6 months allows your marketing department to identify gaps, look at opportunities, competitor activity, and more importantly, a very strong case to present to your sales team about your offering versus pricing and how to grab that business from your competitor. We can go into more detail about that in the toolkit that I'll share, as it's a great one to bring your sales and marketing team together and easily implement it fairly quickly. Understanding your target audience. This is an old school principle, but it is worth its weight in value. We all have an idea about who we hold as a key target audience. A lot of our knowledge here is based on who we have sold to historically. The marketing team is often not aligned with the sales team in this area. Hold a target audience workshop, create customer profiles where you unpack each potential client in detail. The success of the marketing strategy is to translate your offering into communication that lands with your potential customers, solving their pain point. So it's really key to do an in-depth target audience assessment, especially if you're looking at launching a new product into a new target audience space or a current product into a new target audience space. So let's do an example here of a customer pain point to illustrate the approach for a marketing team. Let's use the example of a tour operator, for example. It's industry relevant. We are a tour operator selling a luxury 5-day safari into Africa, for example. We believe we are selling 5 days filled with air tickets, activities, bed nights, transfers, food and beverage. What we are really selling to the customer is time off work, quality time with family and loved ones, relaxation, memory creation, inspiration, and experiences. It's a much more recent buzzword, experiential marketing. So when the marketing department puts the campaign together for sales to generate leads on a 5-day safari, marketing is selling a pain point solution. The pain point is potentially something along the lines of a lack of work-life balance, insufficient time with loved ones, stagnation of too much work and no play, stuck in one location, and an ability to create diverse memories and experiences. I raise the pain point for a key reason. Very often, the marketing team creates pain point solutions in their communication strategy. More than often, the sales team does not translate this in their sales pitch or understand that they are not, in fact, selling a 5-day safari. Well, technically they are. However, what they're selling is quite different. And the reason why a customer makes the purchase is often not driven by the technicalities of what is in the package, but more by the way that they want to feel when traveling on the safari. The sooner the marketing and sales teams can align on the core product and service and how this is solving multiple customer pain points, the better. Okay, last but not least, the marketing department holds a core responsibility to create a clear and achievable marketing strategy based on tangible research. That's very key. So the nugget here, however, is that the marketing should not be creating the strategy without the sales team. All too often, this is created in silos. Marketing has little understanding of the sales targets on one hand, and the sales team's challenges on their day-to-day operation. This should be a collaboration where the sales and marketing teams sit together and compile their approach, supporting one another's goals. So the marketing strategy should support the sales targets by utilizing key metrics and results all the omni-channel marketing approach. So what's an omni-channel approach? It's really not as complex as it sounds. An omni-channel approach is simply looking at every marketing channel available to marketers today and picking and choosing what works for your brand. I'll pause and give you an example. Within the marketing space, we have channels such as, in the digital marketing space, social media channels. We have outdoor advertising, above and below the line advertising. I'll give you an example there in terms of a billboard. We could also potentially go and put together a radio strategy and pay for radio advertising. A blend of all of these channels is what we consider an omni-channel approach. So, for example, when we use the social media channels, the use of email marketing or billboards, these are all marketing channels that we can utilize when building the overall marketing strategy. And what we're aiming to do is generate the best results based on how your target audience prefers to receive the information and then make their purchase. The sales team should ideally be on board with the omni-channel approach that the marketing department has selected. After all, they need to catch the potential customer from each of those marketing channels, persuade them, and ultimately close the deal. In the toolkit we will share after the webinar, I'll provide some possible solutions in terms of how to structure your omni-channel approach, a few hacks should you not have this in-house, and available results and metrics you can use to implement so that you can track. And then also the use of AI in terms of best leveraging those tools and platforms to minimize your human resource requirement in terms of using those metrics and preparing your strategies going forward. I'll then come back to that a little bit later on. Okay, so now we look at the sales department. We have the sales troopers, the meticulous metrics-obsessed negotiators, charged with actually turning those starry-eyed dreamers into paying guests. While marketing was busy sipping Amarula cocktails and crafting the latest Escape to Eden slogans, sales was deep in the trenches, meticulously crunching numbers and closing deals. What you will notice, and where the marriage breakdown starts to happen, is that sales and marketing are required to have the same in-depth knowledge on all the same key points that I've mentioned. Where the disconnect happens is that either this information is not shared between the two departments, or they're not aligned in their belief of the information. I could spend a few hours unpacking suggested approaches and steps to be taken in building each of these key documents and important pieces of research and information. And perhaps we could have a few specific marketing and sales approach webinars in the future. But what we set to discuss today is why there is often a disconnect between the two departments and what is required to ensure we solve those challenges. So the key point here I want to make is that while there are pieces of work that sit in the sales team's wheelhouse of responsibility, it is not ideal to prepare these in isolation. If I was an entrepreneur and setting up a marketing and sales department, my step one would be to ensure I have each of these well-researched and understood in depth by both departments. Settle disagreements prior to going to market, because once you have everyone in the team on the same page at this level, it makes the execution a lot easier. What I've made red and bold on this slide is that the sales team has a responsibility to share their sales strategy early on in the marketing section. I noted that the marketing team has the same responsibility to ensure that the sales team understands and aligns with the marketing strategy. So it's really key at that foundational level that both of the teams build these key marketing and sales strategic documents and continue to revisit them in your 12-month strategic planning period. Okay, so I'd like to break from the theory for a bit and share a valuable lesson I learned as a sales and marketer in my career. Now, the product I'm going to show you is not in the travel and tourism industry. I've chosen it for a reason, not only because it's a key piece of content that has stuck with me over the years, but also because it's a difficult product to sell, and it also combines both a product and a service. The video is of the Seattle fish market in the US. The product, good quality fish. Now, fish is not a glamorous product to sell. It's difficult to store, it smells, slippery to hold onto, and you can't exactly wrap it up in a pretty bow for delivery. Much more glamorous when one's cooked in a Michelin-star restaurant, though. But that's not their business. Their business is selling raw fish in a market. What I'd like you to observe in the video is the magic that happens when the marketing and sales teams come together. Marketing has clearly understood the brief. They're aware that the product is quality fish, but they're not naive in understanding the downsides to the product, which I've mentioned. Their campaign is not selling luxury or glamour. It's selling quality and customer experience. And what they have done is equip their sales team with a unique campaign of transforming the customer experience when engaging with their brand. This market has become world famous simply because people travel from all over to come and experience the energy and the experience because of the way that it makes them feel. Hit the jackpot, experiential marketing at its best. It's a great example of where marketing and sales comes together and the customer experience is world-class. They keep coming back for more. Now, it's questionable as to whether they would come back if the fish was terrible when they got home. So your product needs to back up your promise. Let's have a watch. Blessing, I'm going to just share my next screen so that I can play the YouTube video with sound. Give me 1 second.
Sure.
Let me know if we're good to go. Blessing, can you see that screen?
Yeah, I can see the screen. You just need to play now.
Okay. Good.
We noticed that we could make a difference for people. Like when they come by, they leave in a better mood. And a lot of people have told us that we made their day.
Nice.
A customer came up to me and said it was the best fish they'd ever had. Something happened to me and I realized I was making people happy. Give me a big hug. This gave me a plus in my life. And I love serving the people now. Cheers, tight. Thank me, love.
The fish philosophy is about engaging people and creating positive change in their workplaces and home lives.
Too much coffee! Too much coffee!
You know, are you being, this is a lousy stinking job, or are we being, well, we're just selling fish, or are you being, you know, world famous? You know, you're going to do something differently when you're being world famous than you are if you're being impatient.
The fish philosophy embodies an entire way of life. It's been translated into 14 languages, and it's created positive change in thousands of small businesses, classrooms, Fortune 500 companies, and homes around the world.
You don't have to throw fish. You just have to have the energy. You have to have the commitment. You have to have fun. You have to have fun at work.
Like most people who visit the Pike Place Fish Market for the first time, I was drawn in by the excitement, the fun, the creativity, the playfulness of the fishmongers. But the longer I spent at the market, the more I saw the playfulness didn't just come from their actions, say like throwing the fish. It came from the spirit of the people working there.
That teacher knows that this is the place to come to where they can turn that feeling around.
Sure, I could stay home and eat bonbons, but I'd be by myself. And I'm going to go to work and be with people who are like me.
It's about communication. It's about being there.
Conversation is essential. I think that's how we make sense of our world.
mindsets that
Lucy, are you trying to share your screen? Okay, good. Yeah. You're muted, Lucy.
We back?
Yeah.
All good?
Yep.
Great. Okay, let's move.
Full screen.
Hold on a second. Let me know when we cross over.
Okay, sure. Yeah, you stop sharing.
Yeah, I'll be with you in a sec. Just resharing again. Sorry. Give me 1 second. Just a technical glitch here. Oh, buddy, sorry. Trying to bounce between 2 screens. Hold on. I'm sorry, I'm struggling to share my screen again. Is it still on full screen?
No, but no.
Are we okay? Good to go?
Yeah, it's not full screen, but yeah, I think we can work with this.
Just let me know if we got to the slide changeover.
Okay.
Seems to have frozen on my side. Just loading. Sorry, everyone, please bear with me.
Maybe you have to close the YouTube video.
Yeah, I have. Let me know if are we on to the next slide?
Yes, this is the next slide.
And can I continue?
Yeah, you can continue. Still not.
Have we still got
Yeah.
Is it still on full screen? Let me just try and amend that. 1 second.
You can end this, maybe end the slideshow and then try sharing the screen again. Yeah.
Yeah, let me just do that. Give me a sec. Okay, let's try that.
Oh, sorry, everyone. Just a little technical issue.
Sorry.
We have that sorted now.
Be good now. Apologies, the video has derailed my presentation. There we go. Okay, we should be there. Let me know. You should be back in action. Right, should be good. Okay, so what are the actionable tactics to bridge the gap? This was one of the key points that we wanted to cover in the webinar. So that's a great example, that video where sales and marketing comes together. They create the intangible brand elements and keep the customer front and center. That's the goal, customer focused. So let's talk a little bit about actionable tactics to bridge the gap, tools that you can implement in your business to alleviate some of the communication breakdown between the two departments. Align goals and metrics across the teams. And here's some examples that we can use, which would be to identify and prioritize mutually beneficial objectives. Develop shared KPIs. This is very key. Often the sales team has their sales targets that they need to achieve, and that doesn't roll into the marketing department. Often forms a silo mentality there. So to share the KPIs and share in the wins and the reward is a really good strategy across each of the departments. A number of businesses have never discussed the customer acquisition cost. This is critically important for any business to understand and calculate. What is the cost of a customer acquisition per acquisition? And when you start to form the marketing strategies around cost of customer acquisition, you can start to apportion some of your marketing spend to a deal closed and start to work out a more tangible ROI ratio as well. It also brings a target together for the marketing and sales team so that they have a common goal. Foster transparency and mutual accountability. Optimize communication channels. So the normal run-of-the-mill stuff, scheduling joint meetings between the departments, shared dashboards, and real-time updates as well. Often smaller businesses think that dashboards are something that are extremely costly and complex to put together, and that's not necessarily the case. We can create a sales and marketing dashboard fairly easily and a fairly low cost, where the team can look on a live basis day on day in terms of what campaigns are performing the best, what sales targets are being reached, and celebrating the success of those before getting to the month-end reporting stage. So that's quite key in terms of them collaborating in shared campaigns and initiatives. Promote cross-functional training. So sales team that train the marketing team and vice versa. So sharing the customer pain points and objections. Looking at how the marketing team can train the sales team on buyer personas and messaging and content so that there's synergy in terms of what marketing is putting into the marketplace and what the sales team is sharing with the customer face-to-face. And then facilitate role shadowing opportunities as well, which is really key, so that they understand what each of their roles are and can resonate in terms of what their challenges are in terms of being able to achieve their KPIs. Cultivate a cohesive customer experience. This is really important. So aligning your messaging and branding across all your touch points. Collaboratively map out and optimize the customer journey. Share customer feedback and insights bi-directionally as well. So implementing incentives for collaboration, link compensation, bonuses, sales bonuses and shared goals, recognize and celebrate cross-functional wins, which I've mentioned, and promote a culture of teamwork over territory. So imagine marketing as the talented chef, meticulously preparing amazing dishes through captivating campaigns and lead generation efforts. Sales is the persuasive waiter, responsible for enticing customers and convincing them to fully indulge in the marketing's creative offering. If the chef and waiter don't collaborate, it's a recipe for disaster. The waiter can't properly sell the dishes that they don't understand, and the chef can't cook effectively without knowing the customer's cravings. But when they do seamlessly work together, the waiter providing customer feedback to the chef and vice versa, that's when you get a 5-star experience. The perfect pairing is marketing's innovation, meeting sales' persuasive powers. The chef preps the incredible meal, the waiter ensures every bite gets savored, and the customer leaves satisfied. So rather than operating like a dysfunctional kitchen, encourage marketing and sales to collaborate like a Michelin-starred chef and A-list waiter. Then watch the delight as the customer provides the highest review, empty plates and full pockets. So what are the fundamental differences between sales and marketing? I touched on this a little bit earlier in the webinar. So who does what? Sales has a direct customer interaction role. They are focused on closing the deals and are revenue focused generally. Marketing, on the other hand, has a core focus on brand, lead generation, and are more awareness focused. While their core or key focuses differ, the building blocks in ensuring those key focuses are aligned and consistent are the same. This is often where the building blocks and foundations are not built together. So in some ways, if you don't have two separate departments in your business, it's often a good thing, as when those roles are performed by the same team, you usually have automatic alignment. If you do have separate marketing and sales departments, however, this further highlights the need to build the foundational documents and processes together before venturing out into their core roles in the marketplace. A practical example that I just wanted to share. You're wanting to build a social media campaign to launch a new airline route, for example. Sales has their targets for the launch for the next 12 months onwards. Usually that's how a campaign would be briefed into either of the departments. The airline's wanting to launch a new route campaign. Sales is focus, it's all about bums and seats. Marketing has the goal to launch the new route to the marketplace. They have multiple target audiences they're wanting to reach, obviously with different messages. So we already have a misalignment in terms of which direction each of the departments is wanting to go. The common goal, but very different objectives in terms of how they would apply those to the campaign. So where does that leave us? Marketing also has a core focus on generating PR around the campaign. So a brand only exercise or a lead generation only exercise is not the only core focus for marketing. It's brand awareness and it is lead generation. Sales would generally focus on what the lead generation aspect is of that marketing campaign. What's key in this campaign is that they don't only create the pretty content and great messaging in the marketing team, but they also have a lead generation strategy that is crafted by both departments working alongside each other, ensuring your call to action, which is measurable, and the base of your advertising spend on which is based on advertising spend from your historic data, and that these connect. Let me break it down for you a little bit on the next slide. So marketing creates a social media advertising campaign. They ensure engaging content is created with correct messaging. Sales is involved in the pricing strategy based on their knowledge and experience. Marketing ensures the metrics and tracking is in place and that there is a strong call to action on the campaign. In this example, let's make it a website link to send all the traffic from the social media post on Facebook to the website. Sales is fed a sales lead report from the web analytics by marketing to follow up and call potential customers. It all sounds like it's going to work perfectly. The website also acts as a booking channel, direct to the customer service department. So that's another department that would connect into the campaign. Marketing creates the sales drip mailers to go to all the customers that fall off the campaign midway, for example. Again, providing the sales team with a lead source. Sales sits with the ultimate responsibility of final engagement with the potential customers to close the deal and ensure the booking is made. All in an ideal world. While it sounds like a fairly simple campaign, and we all have probably run a number of these types of marketing campaigns before, the intricate nature and complexity of a campaign like this requires detailed planning from both the sales and the marketing teams. To ensure that the ad spend is best leveraged, we often don't spend enough time planning the detail of these campaigns. So how do we ensure that leads are nurtured and not missed? How do we ensure that all of our marketing activity and spend don't fall by the wayside when they move into the sales funnel? We don't have time today to unpack how a sales funnel works. It is a critical piece to understanding the customer journey through the sales funnel. I will, however, share a few resources on the sales funnel and perhaps, again, another webinar for the future. What we do need to understand, however, is that we spend enough time on our marketing budgets and planning where we're going to be targeting our campaigns, and we don't lose momentum or the potential leads coming into our sales funnel. So 5 easy steps to consider. Number 1 is the planning. Critical to ensure thorough planning between the sales and marketing teams when executing any marketing activity. The 2 is automate. We have a number of fantastic automation tools that should really be applied in most areas of your marketing and sales team's activity. And if you have any key questions on automation in either the sales or marketing area, I'd be happy to answer those for you. Track, again, lots of options to track performance to allow us to measure the campaigns, not only after they are complete, but live while they are in action, allowing us to adjust our strategy where needed. Measurement is key. I would encourage everyone to automate the measurement wherever possible and use AI and application here to shorten the analytics process in terms of the human resource requirement. And then obviously reporting, where AI is playing a huge role in freeing up our marketing and sales teams, especially with regards to data crunching to produce valuable reporting. In a lot of instances, our time is halved in both the marketing and sales departments with regards to being able to apply various AI tools here. So it doesn't eliminate the need for skilled team members to make sense of the reporting, but it does shorten the data crunching time required, freeing up your teams to apply themselves to their highest value work. So how to approach the roles when your sales and marketing team are the same? A number of areas. Wearing multiple hats, it's a tricky task. You know, where the marketing and salesperson is having to craft campaigns with the marketing and sales approach, where your roles are very different in terms of the application of what you are doing day to day. It's really key to define clear processes. So map out a lead management workflow or criteria for qualifying, nurturing, and following up on leads, for example. Make sure you prioritize time management. Don't let either the marketing or the sales function overshadow one or the other. They're both critically important in terms of their application and their role in terms of what they play in the customer lifecycle or journey. Make sure you leverage automation tools, particularly if your sales and marketing are a much smaller department or are needing to perform all of the roles. Leverage things like your CRM systems, your email marketing tools, etc., to benefit your team's time. Make sure you gather regular customer insights. So sales conversions information, making sure that you research and drive tailored sales conversions and analytics. Maintain cohesive presence as well in terms of not having disjointed marketing versus sales experience for your prospective customers. Set integrated goals and ensure that those are very clearly defined for your marketing and sales departments. Often the marketing and sales roles, if it is managed by one person or one team, blends into one another, and very key pieces of each of those departments starts to fall by the wayside. So the key is seamlessly switching between your marketing and sales roles while maintaining cohesive, optimized processes as a single revenue owner. That is everything that I had for the team today. Thank you so much for joining us. I know it's a lot of content. It is a massive topic. I've tried to break it down as best I can in the time that we have. So I'm happy to open the chats, Blessing, if you wanted to share any key questions that I can answer.
No worries. Thank you so much, Lucy, for that beautiful presentation. We'll just run through the questions we have quickly. And yeah, so like we said earlier, if you have any questions, just pop that into the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. And Lucy, we just run through. We have one already from Olivia.
Sure.
The question is, you mentioned AI can assist with analytics and reporting. Which online channel do you recommend? ChatGPT, or do you recommend another?
Thanks for your question, Olivia. So you obviously have heard Natalia, our CEO, speak on AI in terms of a number of different analytics platforms in terms of our AI application. I wouldn't necessarily use ChatGPT for reporting and analytics. You can, there are a number of others that I will share with you in the toolkit in terms of reporting data analytics. Claude AI is one that we use quite frequently. You would look for an AI application where you can upload your data and ask the AI platform to analyze that for you. Natalia has shared a number in the last webinar on AI, which I will again share, that we utilize in terms of reporting on data. I use a lot in terms of our competitor matrix. I use a lot of the platforms like Excel, and graph platforms, etc. And the AI platforms that we use to analyze that data and produce quality reporting are not necessarily in the content creation AI platform fields. So let me know if the ones that we share in the toolkit aren't helpful, and I can further answer if there's anything more you're looking for there.
All right, thank you. Next question from Kate. Can you elaborate on how to use CRM for sales and marketing? And is there a specific CRM system you can recommend?
Thanks, Kate. There are a number of CRM tools. It depends entirely on what you're wanting your CRM to do for you. So I'll give you some examples of where it works extremely well, especially in the call to action space, where you're wanting to automate a campaign. So I mentioned the example of a social media campaign going out. You would track your target audience engagement, where you would either send your traffic through to your website and then manage your traffic there in terms of direct bookings. We have also set up a number of different sales drip mailer CRM tools where you can set up the automated content to go out to your potential customer on a drip feed, ideally not to harass them, and obviously making sure that you take the POPI Act into consideration. There are a host of different tools in the CRM space. If you're wanting to house your database, and I don't want to take too much of our time, I'm mindful of the time, but if you're wanting to house your database as your CRM tool, for example, like a Sales Logics, there is Maximizer. There are a number of paid and free CRM tools that you can utilize as well. Your database marketing in terms of housing your customer base in a CRM tool and then generating all of your marketing and sales activity out of that CRM is always first prize. If you can use your omni-channel communication strategy through that CRM where all of your data is housed, that tracks any engagement you have with your customers, where your sales and marketing team are inputting into that CRM tool and it's all sitting in one space, that is your first prize. It really just depends on how complex you're wanting your CRM to be and exactly what you're wanting it to do. So if you want to chat more offline, I can share with you. I've got about 10 different tools that we can, if you can share with me what you're wanting to do, we can share which tool would work best for you.
Okay, so next question from Lauren. Hi, Lucy, thanks for an insightful presentation. Do you have any good examples of good platforms that can be used for a sales and marketing dashboard?
Yes, a great one that we've been using recently is Monday.com. That's also a tracker of activity in your sales and marketing activity. It can perform a functionality of a dashboard as well. You can look at a custom dashboard that could be built. There are a number of solutions there. Those tend to get a little bit more costly as you start to craft them for your particular business. A number of free of charge ones available to you. It depends, again, if you're wanting to use it as a business tracker for your sales and marketing activity, or if you're wanting to automate these in terms of your various different digital platforms feeding into that. So an example would be a Google paid strategy in terms of monitoring and tracking that from an analytics perspective. What is available, what you can do is have the analytics of that Google paid strategy, for example, a PMAX campaign, and the data from that going into your dashboard. That's a little bit more technical on the back end in terms of the development required for that dashboard, but it is possible. You can also then plug things like if you're in a space where you have a reservations department and you have like a res request platform, for example, or a Room Raccoon or one of those, Knightsbridge, etc., and you wanted to track your inquiries on your reservation side, your sales activity there, and plug that into your dashboard, along with plugging in your marketing campaigns and sales activities from your social media platforms, for example, it is possible to plug that all in as well. So there is some capital investment that could go into a detailed or complex dashboard like that, but the results on analytics and your ability for your team to view that, and you could view that live, for example, would be worth the return on investment on doing something like that.
Got it.
The next
so the last question from Nikki: how do you recommend motivating sales teams to embrace the brand standards and feed it into their client communication?
Yeah, that's a great question. So Yeah, because often in the marketing team, we are fully immersed in our brand and really, you know, are ambassadors for all of the USPs and brand standards. Sales generally has a different mindset in terms of driving their targets. And it's often quite difficult to bridge the gap there in terms of getting everyone on the same page and asking, you know, or encouraging the sales team to communicate those unique selling points and brand standards. I think it goes back to the core ethos of going back to basics in terms of building those foundational documents and in building those foundational processes as a team. There is huge value in getting the team into a room and going through a structured process in terms of setting those brand standards. Often the marketing team sets the standards and then tries to roll it out to the rest of the company, and that's often where it falls short. It's kind of their vision, and they're trying to get others' vision, people to buy into their vision where they haven't participated in the process. So I would say the collaborative approach of building those foundational pieces right from start. If you don't have the luxury of that and you've already built those brand standards, then perhaps to have training sessions along the way consistently and use tangible examples. A great way to do that is to get your customers to speak about your brand standards and let the overall team hear directly from the horse's mouth about their experience of the brand. So that's one idea around doing that. I'll answer this a little bit more in the toolkit as well in terms of some tangible examples of how to roll that out.
Okay, thank you so much, Lucy. There's a question from Joe's on the chat that says, do you offer your services to analyze the needs of the company?
Sorry, just say that again. I didn't hear you.
Do you offer your services to analyze the needs of the company?
Sorry, does Big Ambitions offer the services?
Yeah. I presume that's what he's asking. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. In terms of sales and marketing services, have I got the question right?
Yeah, to analyze the needs of a company. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So this is what we specialize in these areas. Absolutely, yes. We can chat and I can share more detail on exactly what the scope of services are that Big Ambitions supplies for sure.
Okay, thank you so much, Lucy. Thank you everyone for joining in today. Thank you for joining us live. Please be on the lookout. There's so many webinars coming up in the coming weeks. And even tomorrow we have a webinar that's going to be hosted by Echo Africa Digital on elevating your tourism brand with short form videos. So do well to register for the webinars, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Great. Thanks everyone for having me.
Yeah.
Thanks, Blessing.
Bye.